Hello and welcome to another episode of Between the Covers. Oh, what's going on there? I hope everyone is well. Please do say hello. Tap that screen if you're watching on YouTube. Let me know where you're watching from. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. You could have been anywhere tonight, but you've chosen to be here with us and tune in to this amazing interview. And I'll introduce my guest in a second. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Daniela Bleckner. I'm an author, book journey mentor, founder of a company called Conscious Dreams Publishing. We work with authors worldwide to help them to get their powerful messages and stories out there in the form of books. Over the last 6 or 7 years, we've published over 250 books. I've mentored over 300 authors. I'm absolutely passionate about providing a platform for unseen, unheard voices so they can educate, inspire, entertain, empower, transform the generations to come. I absolutely love what I do, working with people from all over the world, getting to hear new voices and being a platform to have these voices heard and amplified. So again, if you're tapping in, if you're joining, please do share this out. Of course, if you find this of value or worth, please do share this with your network. If you know anyone who's writing a book, put them in touch. One side note here, if you're watching on Facebook, you can support us at Conscious Dreams by sending stars to help me earn money to make more content. I do storytelling sessions with young people. So we offer bespoke mentoring and publishing services to authors, but I also work in the community with young people. We help to raise funds so they can publish their books and have their voices heard. The bigger plan is to go into prisons and to work with people from marginalized communities, working on co-creative projects so we can help to amplify voices. So that is what those stars go to. So who am I? What is this show, first of all? If you've tuned in, thought, what the heck am I watching and why is it called Between the Covers? Well, this show is about getting up close and personal in between the covers of what it takes to create a book. Sometimes I interview authors. A lot of the times they're Conscious Dreams publishing authors. Sometimes they are publishing experts within the publishing industry. Last week, I interviewed the awesome and amazing Angie Lamar, ex-stand-up comedian, who has now pivoted to publishing children's books. It was a wonderful interview. She gave some incredible insights. So please do subscribe to the YouTube channel over at Book Journey Mentor and have a listen. But right now, because I have a fantastic guest to introduce you to. Turn this music down. He deserves. Don't have to turn it down. So I'll turn it right down. There we go. What's wrong with me? So his name is Jason Harris. He has written a book called Retrieval of the Soul. This is an absolutely beautiful book full of prose and poems that chart his mental health journey. He is a peer support worker. He spent 2 years in hospital suffering with poor mental health. He knows what it's like to go through it. And this book, really the aim is to break the barrier and break that stigma that often lurks behind mental health. So please do tap the screen, show him some love. I want to see those fire emojis going up and down. Come on. I'm going to introduce Jason Harris. Hey, Jason, how you doing?
Not too bad, thanks, Danny.
Good. Where have you tuned into from today?
I'm at home today.
Yeah, whereabouts are you based?
So that's in Norfolk.
You're in Norfolk. Amazing. We're making waves across the UK. How does it feel to be a published author? This book came out last week, didn't it?
Danny, it feels amazing and I feel blessed, to be honest with you.
That's beautiful. I saw your unboxing video and it's for me, like, I think it's going to be one of the best. Like, one of the things I love about this job is working with people, but then seeing the joy in their faces when they, open their first book. And that smile, honestly, was such a joy to behold. How did that feel to have that book in your hands?
I'm not sure if words didn't do it even any justice, Danny, but I'm truly inside grateful and thank you to you and your team and God as well.
Well, thank you to you because you had the idea, not just the idea to publish that book. We actually had the determination and the volition to go on that journey to actually take those practical steps to getting it done. So Retrieval of the Soul, what is it about and what inspired you to write it?
Well, what inspired me to write it was, I think you said it already, is trying to break those barriers. Haven't experienced it, I wanted to try and give a different perspective, because as you can see, it's often portrayed in the media as, and so I just wanted to give a different perspective and kind of like share a bit of hope and inspire others and empower others as well, hopefully.
Okay, amazing. And tell me the title. A lot of people have commented on the title, Retrieval of the Soul. Why the title? What does that mean personally to you?
Because I think it, with the book, I think it kind of takes you on a journey of kind of like my life, and it is kind of retrieving the soul in some way. As some of the poems that explain that feeling lost, you know, so many people feel lost in and I guess trying to be a voice in of experience, I guess.
So you from thank you for that. From what I got from the book, and it's interesting you said Retrieval of the Soul is like almost like every poem is a part being retrieved.
That's right.
Did you feel like that whilst you were on your mental health journey, that it was or when you were coming out of it, that it was a case of retrieving parts of you back?
I feel like, yeah, like you said, secondly, I think it's kind of retrieving parts of me back, because I felt once, to start with, I felt I had lost so much, and slowly it was like, you feel like a baby trying to regrow, like growing and trying to find those little bits and pieces again that may at one point seem so easy, but when you go through these kind of challenges, it really can have a knock-on effect. And
are you okay? Can you share a little bit of your journey, and what were the first signs for you that you realized something wasn't quite right?
I remember I just went away on holiday, and then coming back from that holiday, I was at a training session, and I just began feeling quite weird. And from then, I think the coach picked up on it, and I didn't. I stopped running in the session, and after that, he kind of gave me a bit of a word and kind of asked me to leave the football club. So after that, I kind of went into a depression stage. I think I was kind of ruminating quite a lot and beating myself up quite a bit, and then from there, kind of the voices began to get louder, and yeah, it was really challenging.
So these were the physical voices you were hearing? Yeah,
that's right. And they were outside of me. There were more than one voice. There was one voice that was quite dominant, and they were quite of a threatening nature. And yeah, it was really hard to make sense of, because I was trying to piece things together at the same time, and yeah, it was really difficult.
Did you find it hard, or I mean, how was that? I mean, I can't even imagine, and what the first step would be in terms of reaching out for help once you realise that there's something not quite right. You're not feeling yourself. Did you feel it was? Did you know where to go for help, or to reach out? Who to reach out to?
I think it was quite difficult, Danny, because at the time it felt, it was real. It was so real that like it literally felt like something was going to happen, you know. So everywhere I was going, even when I went to the GP to begin with, it's like I didn't feel validated. I didn't think he was kind of listening to what I'm saying. But again, he's seeing a different perspective to what I'm kind of seeing. So it was really, really challenging at the time, and I didn't want to stay anywhere for too long. I'll give you a little brief. So I began moving around. I ended up going to different parts of the country, trying to escape the voices, trying to see if anything would change. Nothing changed. Everywhere I went, they seemed to kind of be there. So I ended up moving abroad, or not trying to move abroad off the Canary Islands, but that didn't last too long, and I ended up coming back, then moving around the country again until I eventually ended up in hospital.
And when you were in hospital, were you writing? How did you work through that? Did you find that you were writing then, or were these poems written well after your journey? So
I think the first poem actually came from so I had come out of hospital, and I'd gone to a place called Recovery College, which I helped tutor at as well. And they had this group that's called How to Tell Your Story. So it felt quite awkward just standing up and just talking like that and telling just telling my story in that way. So but they had lots of different other ways of people like doing a bit of art, and kind of like using other ways. So back in when I was in school, I used to like mess around with a bit of poetry and stuff like that. And growing up, I had a few friends from around the way, and we used to do a little MC and grime and garage and all that kind of thing.
Oh, we would have been good friends. The 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I thought, why not try and write a bit of poetry? I did a bit of poetry, and it was received quite well. I began as I began tutoring, there was different things that was coming up, and I just felt like it was an easier way of expressing and kind of displaying what was giving a better picture of and I just started going with that, to be fair.
Amazing. So this was like an organization that Recovery, remind me of the name. Recovery Rights, you said.
Recovery College. Sorry,
Recovery College. Right, okay. And so you had different modalities that you could use. So art, for example, writing, tried a bit of rapping, I reckon, right? Yeah, no, I'll switch to poetry. Poetry is, I tell the kids, poetry is rapping, and rapping is poetry, right? But so this was like the start of your journey of self-expression, but also processing and working through some of the things that had gone on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
No, you're right, Danielle.
What was when you started writing? What was your kind of biggest reflection through that journey? So when you were writing, what was your kind of? Did you have any kind of epiphanies as you were writing, as you were working through things that helped you to connect some of the dots? Because often it's, for me anyway, you know, writing poem of poet, you know, I write poetry same as you, especially during my sort of dark periods where I would just write and get everything out. And as I would write, I would feel like it was a really cathartic healing process to me. But as I wrote, it's like I was figuring out certain things as part of my journey. So it's like therapy.
Yes.
Was there anything that you found on your journey while you were writing that you kind of started to connect the dots to?
I think it's pretty similar to how you explained it. And then I guess it was just kind of just wanting to inspire others, I guess it was. And it was just, it was a good way of channeling all those thoughts and emotions and all that, getting it out in some ways, I guess, if that answers your question, it makes sense.
Do you feel like, sort of leading on from that, do you feel that there's enough space, especially for, number one, men, number two, black men? Do you think there's enough safe spaces for black men to talk about feelings and feel validated? Something you said earlier, it didn't feel validated. And I feel that can be really detrimental to mental health, without having mental health issues to start with, being made to feel like your feelings aren't valid or being dismissed. How do you feel, as a man, as a black man in that realm?
I guess depending on the nature of the person, but in my own experience, I guess you can feel quite isolated. You can feel quite angry as well, and frustrated in some ways, and quite alone with it, I guess, also. And
do you feel like there's enough of those places? Obviously you have the Recovery College, which sounds fantastic. Do you feel in general, not that you're to know where all the organisations are, but just from your experience, do you feel like there is enough help out there, or enough places for you to go to seek help?
I'm not sure there's enough places, but the nice thing is now you're seeing a lot more people coming out and expressing and talking about it, which is, it's only empowering more people, which is, it's a great thing to see. Yeah,
which I hope, well, we know your book's going to do. Can I just say, like, Jason's book came out last week, and my phone has just been pinging off because it's been on the Conscious Dreams bookshop. And every time there's a message, someone's ordered a copy of Jason's book, someone's ordered a copy of Jason's book. So I think it's just beautiful that you put all of your journey and your knowledge and every poem has an explanation, behind the message behind the poem and the journey that you were on. And I think it's a great book that will help people feel less alone, or maybe even raise awareness. So one thing I wanted to ask was, what was your aim of writing the book, aside from obviously having that cathartic healing feeling through writing?
I guess, like you said, was trying to raise awareness and trying to break the barriers, and also trying to inspire hope for others and empower people, empower others as well to, you know. And like sometimes, like you said, I think as a man, sometimes you can feel like, or even as a person, you can feel like I forgot what I wanted to say, but you can feel quite trapped. Yeah, kind of trapped. So it's just nice to be able to express and feel that freedom. And feel that makes
Yeah, it does. So, do you think you'll be writing another book?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of working on one at the moment.
Oh, let's hear. Can we hear some of your book? Maybe one or two of your poems, and maybe I think the message behind the poems as well. And it's got beautiful images in here too, which we'll talk through as well.
Sure.
And
yeah. So first one, I could read My Hearing Voices Experience.
Yes, please.
I spent a lot of time wishing things were different. There's so many days being bedridden. I used to be confident, some would say outspoken. Now I feel lonely, frightened, and broken. I've gone from stable to feeling unable. I have an identity, it's just a label. My diagnosis has become my name, and it's left me feeling ashamed and afraid, also mentally and physically drained, wishing someone or something will come to my aid. Seeking knowledge that might ease my fears and make me less worried. Up to this point, it's been nothing but horrid. Each and every day, all I hear is critics, bottled emotions that dampen my spirits. Smiling and stating everything's fine to avoid addressing what's truly inside. Feeling like an outcast, not knowing where you fit. Wishing my experience was like a broken leg with a chance of being fixed. See, a lot of the years I've just been listening, and outsiders might say his voice have imprisoned him. But sharing is caring, like my daughter would say. For those that can relate, I hope it will encourage you to want to do the same. Through sharing, we can hope to see that we're not alone and inspire each other to achieve our goals. Through others' story, it's helped me to gain strength. Regardless of the height, there's a way over the fence. I now take time to appreciate every step, and I now give thanks for every breath. I've learned not to fight, but to accept, and I've learned to love instead of neglect.
Thank you. And that is the very first poem in the book. I think it really beautifully describes your experience. One of the things that stood out for me was about wanting to be seen more than just a label. Did you feel at that time that almost like, it's called Retrieval of the Soul, so did you feel like it kind of dehumanizes you in a sense, and people are just seeing hey, Misty D says powerful. Let's highlight that comment here. Thank you, Misty D, fellow author. Did you feel that people found it hard to look beyond the label and actually tap into you as a person and reach you as a person? How was that?
I wouldn't just say people, Danny. I'll say myself. I lost my identity. I became just the diagnosis itself. Like I'm forgetting that I was a father and all the other things that come with it. So,
what was it sort of when you were going through that journey? Was there anything that helped to really pull you through? Obviously, apart from the support.
Well, throughout my whole journey, so to begin with, I didn't. My mum was quite religious, and she should. So, but I didn't really follow it as much. So, but I began reading the Bible, began reading scriptures, and I felt like God was with me throughout the whole journey, as well. And the people, the support, and the things that He provided and put in place, I feel like He played. I think He was behind everything, and He just really brought a package of things to really help me, all the resources to get to where I am today. And I'm just, I can only give Him all the thanks and the praise for where I'm at now.
Thank you. You're doing amazingly well at this interview, because you haven't had it's your first time you've had an interview, isn't it? I'm praying that there's going to be many, many, many more. If you're watching this now, or if you're watching this on the replay, please do give Jason some love. Check out his book, Retrieval of the Soul, a wonderful book of poetry and prose that charts his journey through retrieving soul, through mental health, through the depths of mental health challenges. His personal story, shaped by 2 years in hospital, is a beacon of hope for those who have felt alone. Now let's talk about the cover, because when you initially came to us, he had all of his poems and everything on a PowerPoint sort of presented, and then you had all these like different images everywhere. It's like, okay, cool. We can work with this. Let's get the design going with this, okay? But one of the images that you gave us was similar to this here. Okay, so we can see somebody on a rock with the light sort of peeping through, and then there's obviously nobody here, and then you've got someone here in the front. Can you talk us through the cover and why you chose the colors and design, what it means to you?
I think, as you can see on the cover, it looks like someone's kind of stepping out of darkness into the light, but even though they stepped out, there's still a way to go, and you can't really see the other side of it, so to how to get there. And I guess it's kind of just demonstrating where the journey is and how far we might have to go, you know.
I think it's a beautiful way of looking at it, because I hadn't thought of that. There's two ways, and you can see, you know, the journey, like you say, the past, what's gone before, and it's that being on that island, looking out, having that hope, knowing there's something ahead, and you don't want to go back that way. Figuring it out. Yeah. So let me just stay here for a bit and appreciate where I am. I think there's something to be said for that position. You know, I think we can all do with sometimes we're too quick to like want to rush forwards into something without kind of remembering where we've come from, you know, and which can also set us back quite quickly. So sometimes just being still and just looking out is important. I love it. I absolutely love the cover. Talk us through some of the other images you have in your book as well, because that was quite a big part of the journey, sourcing images. Are there any particular images in here that you feel really tell a story, whether it's your personal sort of story or to go with the poems?
I think kind of changing perspective is another one as well. I think that was an important part as well on my journey, is because I was only seeing one perspective to begin with, but as things started to, the more I was learning about myself, and the more I was growing in confidence, my perspective and how I was seeing something was changing. Like,
what page is that on? I'm curious.
Sorry, I'll show you that. So it's kind of like a road. Yeah, that's on the road. I think it's. I just had it a second ago.
Oh, I think I've got it. Here you go.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, look at that. That's so nice to see with the book. I love that sort of every image tells a story, and what I like is it's just different. You've got your titles here on the side. Yeah. Any particular reason?
Because you can see that there's like you're on the pathway, and it's you can see there's a long road ahead, you know, and it's like the for some people the journey is ongoing, you know, so it's like it's just that you're just on your journey.
I love it. Thank you. And can you share with us one more poem? And I think let's have the meaning behind one of those poems as well. Okay.
I'll share a Scepter New Me.
Okay. What page is that on, please?
So that's on page 42.
42, lovely. I love being able to read along. If you're watching, if you have any questions, please throw the questions up as well. Page 42, Accepting a New Me.
So, acceptance can be hard for so many reasons, but for some, a diagnosis is not appealing. Getting caught in a battle could steal our freedom and leave us feeling alone and defeated. Who wants to endure a life of treatment, being stigmatized by others or mistreated? It's a big choice, and one that's not easy, and I needed time to actually see me. I realized I was there underneath it all. How I live alongside it doesn't define me at all. How I see my future, well, that's down to me, and I learned to appreciate that I'm unique. As I grew in acceptance, the more I felt free to focus and able to breathe, able to relax and able to see that now I'm free to explore a new me.
I love that. Thank you so much. And that leads quite nicely into forming a positive identity statement, which you'll have to buy the book to read. But maybe, but moving on to your journey of recovery, but you spoke about rebirth and things being new, like being born anew after coming out the other side of recovering from being in hospital for 2 years. How did that, tell me about that journey of having that rebirth. What did that feel like?
So I think I was quite structured in some ways. So having that rebirth, it kind of opened my eyes and to lots of different possibilities where probably before I wouldn't have probably thought of those kind of things. And it kind of gave to me a new outlook on life as well, and to be more appreciative and more grateful, you know. So
Oh, thank you. Misty D is giving you a round of applause. And I just want to take that time as well to say, like, thanks for your humility and for your bravery and your courage for not only sharing your journey, but actually writing this book with the aim to empower others and to feel less alone. You know, I think it's a beautiful book, and I think it's a book that first would be great for people who are dealing with a loved one who is going through poor mental health, raising awareness, but also for people who are going through, who may feel like they've lost their identity or sense of self, and like you say, have become a label even to themselves. And sometimes we need to be able to have that mirrored back to us to feel, you know, a little bit of that freedom to say it's okay. I'm not alone. I'm not by myself in this. Choose Life says beautiful. Thank you, Choose Life. So how have people reacted to your book so far?
Yeah, so some of the poems they've seen, if they said it's really helped them. So, and just hearing that alone is like, that's what I was hoping for, you know, to maybe inspire someone to make them feel that, you know, better, a bit more hopeful within themselves about their future or whatever they might be going through. So, cool.
It's done its job.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Hey, Kenny's on. He's another one of our authors, Being Invisible. In fact, Kenny, it's probably someone you should connect with. He has written a book about Black fathers, and part of the conversation within that was in the chapters about mental health, how men, he kind of frequented lots of different Black father groups and discussed, you know, love, life, relationships, all of these sorts of things. And one thing he found was that, you know, men don't always speak. Certainly not, you know, I hate like generalizing, but I mean, it is true. Generally, obviously there's exceptions to the rule. As women, we are more communicative. We'll have our group of friends or a trusted friend, and we'll talk, and we'll speak through, we'll kind of heal through talking. And one of the things Kenny said was that a lot of men were suffering alone and suffering in silence, he says, for sure. And so we were talking a little bit about that, Kenny, as well. So if you have any questions or comments around that would be great. And I was asking Jason if he felt that there were safe spaces specifically for Black men around mental health. Okay. Thank you, Kenny. I was going to ask a question, and it's totally gone from my head. It's completely and utterly gone. Yeah, that was it. Your work as a peer support worker. Tell me about your work as a peer support worker. What is a peer support worker first?
So a peer support worker is someone that has lived experience, and it's like more of walking alongside someone. So you're not kind of like trying to enforce any of your ideas, but you're just trying to kind of help that person gently navigate their own journey or what works for them, because we're all individual, and you know what might work for me might not work for the other person. So just walking alongside that person and trying to gently help them find their way through their journey. You know,
that's a beautiful way to describe, you know, working, sort of walking alongside someone and gently guiding them through, because so often, you know, people think, you know, a way to help, that's my links to my question, I remember, is to, you know, to force, and like, this is right, you know, taking control away from the person and instructing. I like that you said you know, sometimes you just need those footsteps alongside you as you're guided through the way. So the question I was going to ask was, you know, what advice would you give to a loved one who is, or somebody who is witnessing a loved one who is suffering with their mental health?
I think being listened to is a key. I think a big one. Validating somebody, you know, and because I know for myself, it's like sometimes it can have an opposite effect when, like you say, when you're being forceful, when you're trying to rush the process, and some people, everyone operates at different speeds, and they'll get there. Just gently, you know, just gently encourage and be that support system for them, and listen. You know, sometimes that those things can really help somebody.
Beautiful, thank you. So I've highlighted that listening is key. Top tip. I think you're right. I think I was saying this the other day. Sometimes we can talk. It confuses the brain. And then the person walks away thinking, "Oh my gosh, I've got all these things I should be doing." And sometimes you've got that power inside. Sometimes you just need to get everything out and be listened to, and it's that sense of relief that someone's on the other side of listening. And it's another reason why I think the Samaritans are amazing. You know, pick up the phone, literally somebody's there, and their job is to listen and not to tell. I think it's a really, really important job, and I think the work that you do is fantastic. Is that something that you've always wanted to do, or would you say that as a result of your journey?
It was a result of my journey. And I wanted, wanted to give back, like I said, and help others.
I think it's beautiful. I think sometimes our biggest tests are our biggest testimonies, you know. And through our challenges, sometimes we find ourselves in a different purpose, you know, like maybe like that's your purpose. I think we have many different purposes, but like maybe, you know, one of your huge life purposes of going through that journey, you're best positioned to be able to help somebody else going through that. So I think your journey is super important. Deborah Ingram gives a heart. Thank you so much. Show Jason some love. Come on, this is his first interview. He's doing really, really well here. Chief Live says, what are the early signs you should look out for in supporting someone with their mental health before it escalates?
I think one probably might be a bit of withdrawal. Withdrawal might be easy to notice. Sometimes it can be quite difficult because it can be quite sudden, depending on the nature of the illness. But yeah, I think withdrawal is some early signs of or things that if you know the person and you notice they're not doing or acting in the way that they would usually, that might be some early signs.
Thank you, Jason. Another question here. Very good subjects. I wish I knew I have share. Oh, thank you so much. You share. I wish I knew I would have shared this. Oh, no problem. Well, there'll be a replay, Deborah. There's a YouTube link as well. So please, you can share the YouTube link or you can share the Facebook link. If you're watching this I can't speak today. If you're watching this and find this of worth and value, how can you not? Please do share this out on your page right now, or you can share the replay. If you're watching on the replay, please just type in #replay. And if you've got any questions, please do throw them up. They will be answered afterwards. We have a couple. Very brave, Jason, and much needed. Very much needed. It's amazing. Early days. Keep talking. Keep the conversation going. Thank you so much, Deborah. Excellent. I mean, you've got some great support here. Like I said, you're one of, you know, when your book came out, hey, Janine, your book was the one that was really sort of popping off in the Conscious Dreams bookshop. How has that felt? Because you've got quite a few to send out now, haven't you?
No, it's been amazing, to be fair. It's felt really, really, really good. And it's been a lovely moment in my life, to be fair.
Lovely. Thank you. Kelly says, great, you're sharing your experiences. Mental health is still a taboo in some communities. Yeah, definitely. We spoke about that. Oh, someone's been tagged in. Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for the support, everybody. Jason, what is next for you? Because we've got to hop over to Instagram now for a short interview.
Well, I'm in the process of trying to write another one. So hopefully in the pipeline, there'll be another book.
Wow, is it going to get addictive now? One of those things that you're going to be churning out a book every 2 months. Have you performed your poems? Have you thought about doing that before?
That's one thing that I'm hoping to do soon as well. I haven't quite got a venue just yet, but it's been talked about. So hopefully, but I'll let you know, definitely.
Because I'm thinking about doing, because we've got quite a few poets over here at the old CDP headquarters. So I'm thinking about getting all the poets together and having a poetry night for, I think it's April, is poetry. Now I've said it out loud, I've got to do it now, haven't I? And Jason's going to be like messaging me on Instagram saying, when's this event happening? But yeah, I would absolutely love you to come and do some poetry, and you can meet our other poets, or we can all meet each other. I think that would be great. You know. So we have come to the end of the interview. I've got so many more questions still, but honestly, you've done amazingly well to first of all do this interview, first ever interview, and to publish this book and to write it and to put it out there and do it to help other people. And the work you do is so valuable, and don't ever underestimate it. Seriously. You can buy a copy from any good retailer. You can also get it from a signed copy from the Conscious Dreams bookshop. The links are all in the post if you're not going to be watching on Instagram, but you'll be able to find it. If you're on Instagram, it's on our shop as well. Oh, here we go. A couple more. Misty D says, well done, Jason. Wishing you fantastic success.
Thank you.
Someone says, oh, well done. Another poetry book or something different.
Thank you.
Which is asking a question. Is it a poetry book, or are we not allowed to know?
Oh, yeah, it's another poetry book. Sorry.
Perfect. Janine says, see you over on the gram. Okay, we're going to go over to the gram now just for 10 minutes. Tune in next week. Jason, it's been amazing to speak with you today. Thank you so much. Tune in next week for another episode of Between the Covers, where I'll be speaking with life coach Dilys Silla, who is publishing her second book with us. This is her third book in total. 360. I don't know what's happening. I can't speak today. I don't know what's going on today. 360 ways to tell you you're special. Okay. Beautiful quotes and affirmations that nourish and affirm your soul. See you next week, 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. EST. I have my writers' weekend coming up this weekend. Cannot wait. Just a beautiful healing space. Jason, if you saw it, you would love it. A beautiful healing space where you can just sit and write your book and relax. So see you everyone next week. Bye.